This book is full of spiders. 6 hours prior to Outbreak. I woke up in my bathroom, startled. I had nodded off while pooping. Long goddamn day. 3 in the morning now. I tried to call John, got his voicemail, which was typical. John had set up his life perfectly so that he could get in touch with me anytime he needed something, but all of my calls to him were carefully screened. Everything always on his terms. I stumbled through the house, knowing that going to bed while it was still dark was out of the question, but at a loss as to what to do otherwise. The laptop was still in the bed, so I went to CNN's website and found the video clip of the report with the security camera footage. The walking shadow, floating down the hall. 3 other people visible in the frame. None looking at the shadow or reacting in any way. Just as Frankie didn't react when the alien bug thing was right in front of him. Invisible. I moved the slider on the website's video player back and forth. Rewind, play. Rewind, play. A black ghost floating down a hospital hallway. And nobody notices. Forget it. This is ridiculous. I closed the laptop. I threw on a jacket and stuffed the flashlight and one flare in an inside pocket. By the time I got to the front door, Molly was at my knee, wagging her tail, sensing adventure. Together, we strode into the night. We walked 6 blocks to the late-night burrito stand. I leaned against a wall and ate from a wad of aluminum foil, occasionally grabbing chunks of chorizo and tossing them to Molly, who hurriedly swallowed them each so she could immediately beg for another. There was a bottle of Red Mountain Dew at my feet. I glanced at my watch. Still more than 3 hours to kill until sunrise. I wrapped up the remaining half burrito and tossed it into the trash can. Molly watched this act of wastefulness with an expression like she had just seen her entire family die in a fire. I mopped orange grease off my hands with a half-dozen napkins. At this hour, there were 5 other people eating at the tables in front of the burrito window. This establishment's entire business model was catching the drunks who were pushed out of the bars when they closed at 2. There was a pair of couples that looked college age, all 4 of them drunk off their asses, celebrating the fact that they would be young and pretty forever and ever. Then there was a short, fat guy off by himself in a biker jacket. I found his Harley behind him in the parking lot. I wondered what his story was. Maybe he's riding across the country and will be in Ohio by this time tomorrow. I wondered which of the 5 were Batman, and what their secrets were. You couldn't tell by looking. That was the point. Molly and I were shuffling back toward my house when I noticed there was a silver Porsche parked on my street. To say that was unusual is a ridiculous understatement. This was White Trash Lane. One house without a front door, another sealed shut with yellow police tape. My little bungalow had my 1998 Ford Bronco parked in the front. Sitting in the driveways of the next 3 houses was a 1985 Pontiac Fiero, a 95 Geo Tracker, and a 2004 PT Cruiser Woody. At least my property taxes were low. The Porsche was crouched low along the gravel shoulder in front of the doorless house I thought was abandoned, 3 doors down from mine. The gleaming machine looked like it had been warped here right off a showroom floor. Even the tires looked scrubbed down to a pure layer of factory rubber. I made it to the house and scanned around the yard. Nothing unusual. I was going to have to clean those gutters soon. The gigantic tree back there was dying and dropped every leaf by the first week of October. The leaves were ankle deep, but I knew they'd eventually blow onto them at my neighbor's yard. The old guy who lived there seemed to like doing yard work, so I think that worked out for everybody. I let the dog poop in the yard and let myself in the back door. I passed into the living room and there was some freaking guy sitting there. He sat in my tattered recliner, making himself right at home. Probably 40 or so years old, dark hair with a little gray at the temples. About 3 days' growth of beard stubble that followed an angular jawline. He had a chin butt. He wore a leather jacket that had been manufactured specifically to look worn and faded right off the rack, over a black button-up shirt that sat open at the collar with the top 3 buttons undone. He wore jeans and cowboy boots, legs crossed casually. He looked like he had been clipped out of a catalog, and I immediately knew that this was the owner of the Porsche. I said, "I think you wandered into the wrong house, buddy." He did exactly what I knew he was going to do, which is reach into an inside pocket and pull out a little leather ID wallet. He flipped it open. "Good morning, Mr. Wong. I'm Detective Lance Falconer. You and I are going to have a talk."